Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game.
Yes, the shortest board game name there ever was. I'm sad it's not a bit longer because it will make the game even better. This is a review copy that we got from Asmodee Nordic, so thank you so much for sending that to us. This was one of my most anticipated games of the year, and now we have played it and we're going to talk to you about it because we like trick-taking games.
Yes, we do.
We have played very many of them the last year, and this was one that we were excited about, even though it has a category of mechanisms that I'm not usually a fan of.
Yes.
Can you guess which one?
Trick-taking.
Yes.
No, it's cooperative.
It's a cooperative game, and spoiler alert, I like it. So we are going to talk to you a bit about why we like it, and also maybe why you will like it, if you will like it. We don't know, but we will try to tell you if you will. That is the goal of the video.
Yes.
If you like goals like that, you can help us reach our goal of getting 1 million YouTube subscribers. If you want to help us do that, then you can click the subscribe button.
We are very close.
Getting closer every single day. So to reach our goal of getting 1 million YouTube subscribers, we need all the help we can get.
Yes, we do.
So yes, literally all the help we can get. But enough about that. Let's talk about this game.
It is a fairly straightforward trick-taking game. Could you explain it to us, please?
I can. It's very straightforward. We're not going to explain trick-taking. If you don't know about it, then know about it. I will explain very simple. Let's say I play this card, which is the 5 of mountains. Then all the other players around the table have to play other mountain cards. And then the highest mountain card, let's say we played a 5 and a 1 and a 3. The player who played a 5 is going to win. If you don't have the suit, you play something else. There is one special suit that we're going to talk about more, and this is for the 2-player that we're going to talk about later. But
I like that you're saying we're not going to explain trick-taking.
And I was thinking...
And you explain it
immediately afterwards. When I said it, I was thinking, let's
Why
just
not?
do it.
Yes.
Because if somebody is like, I never played a trick-taking game before...
We will not gatekeep trick-taking.
I will not. Please play trick-takers. They're fun. In this game, you will cooperatively play chapters with great storytelling in them, and then you will have different characters in front of you, which has goals. And those goals is going to tell you what you need to do. And if everybody gets to do the thing that they need to do, you will win. And you will rejoice in happiness because you can then read the next part of the story. This is taken from the game The Crew, which has a very good story, which you only play for the story because the gameplay is bad. And you're just playing story mode because, wow, I cannot wait to know what's happening. And this is the same. If you haven't watched the Lord of the Rings movies, because then you know the whole story, except this is based on the book. So there are characters in here which I never heard about, which has strange names, but we're not going to talk about them because that is a spoiler.
But
and now you can talk.
Without spoiling either this game or the
Crew
story
of the crew
or Lord of the Rings, I feel like
the ring ends up in Mordor.
Whoa! I feel like the game is thematic. It is thematic, but
how
thematic?
How is it thematic?
It is
like,
thematic.
I am Frodo. I want to win cards.
It would be weird if you could start off being one of the later characters in the first chapter. You can't.
But
because
why?
These are all characters that were in the beginning.
But it's not a thematic game.
It would
I
be
wouldn't
really
be like,
weird if Bilbo showed up at Mordor later.
Yes, I agree with that.
Maybe he does.
But that doesn't make a game thematic. That the characters are in the right part of the story. That's like the bare minimum they could do.
I like that.
That's like the bare minimum. It's like, oh, but now Gollum arrives in Hobbiton. It's like, why? That doesn't make any sense.
I like that though.
Yes, I don't agree that it's thematic. I never sit with this card in my hand and feel like, I'm on a journey. I'm going to play my 2 of Shadows now.
I agree.
So, but that's a fun. But the thing, it's a straightforward trick-taking game. The fun that makes it fun, is the characters.
Yes, those
because
make it
the characters have goals and you pick them. In the beginning, don't you, Sunniva?
Well, Frodo is picked for you.
Yes.
If you start with the one and only ring, it's 5 rings with...
One ring to rule them all, but there's 5 in the game.
Yeah.
So it's very thematic. In this one, there's 5 different rings, but only one ring. And then the other 4 rings are not 1 rings, but they're other rings.
I think they're more in the original, isn't there?
Yeah, but not in the... But it looks very much like the other ring, but it's not the one.
No, I don't know. I haven't seen all the rings from Lord of the Rings.
No,
Maybe
we haven't.
they look a lot
that is
like
true.
the one ring.
But back to the review. The player who has Frodo, or had this, is Frodo.
It's Frodo.
And that
That
player
is also thematic.
is the leader, and that player also has to win 4 ring cards throughout.
Yes,
So
he
that's
wants
basically
the rings. That is not very thematic.
no. That's okay. This
Okay,
is
yes.
the least chaotic review we've ever done. It's not. So the other characters have different things. Gandalf has win 1 or more tricks. Bilbo has win 3 or more tricks, and Pippin has win the fewest amount of tricks. So let's say somebody is Frodo. Let's say that's you. You're Frodo. Then the next player has to choose a character depending on their hand, but you can't communicate, of course, what you have in your hand. And when everybody has chosen, you begin the game. Most characters, or most chapters, I mean, have some characters that you have to play with.
Yeah.
So that's, but also let's say you had to play. I'm making something up. Let's say you had to play Frodo and Bilbo.
Yeah.
And with 3 players, and one person is of course Frodo, and I choose Gandalf, and the last player.
The cards on your hand makes it. Yeah, you
don't wanna
see.
win
I
3.
don't. I can't win 3.
And then the last player has to choose Bilbo, basically.
Yeah.
Then most of them also have like a thing where you can exchange some cards
I like
and stuff like
that.
that. Absolutely.
Because sometimes when you're lost to choose or you,
Mm-hmm.
you have less options, you might think, oh, I'm going to win a lot of tricks, but I have a bad hand. Then
Mm-hmm.
I can hope that somebody else, for example, will exchange one of their good cards for a worse that I have.
And without spoiling anything, we haven't played the whole thing, but when you get through some chapters, there will also be different things that changes the chapters.
Yeah.
And I will say it makes the chapters feel pretty different. Even though like you're doing the same thing, but this time, okay, how are we going to solve this puzzle?
Yes.
And of course you're adding, there's luck in these kind of trick-taking games, because you can be dealt hands that are going to be like almost impossible. But like we know from The Crew, is that you never should give up before the end.
No. Sometimes there are possibilities that you haven't even considered that make it possible again, or even though you might have thought that it was all lost. We have played some chapters only once because we've gotten it on the first try.
That's true.
But a lot of the times we have to play it 2 times, or sometimes also more than that, to get through a chapter.
Let's talk about the 5 rings to rule them all. Because in most trick-taking games, there's a suit that is trump. Here, it's not. And also there's a weird suit with only 5 numbers in them. Because most others have 8. So this is a different suit. You can play it off-suit, like if somebody doesn't have the right suit. But you can't lead with a ring in the beginning because this cool ring token is upside down. But then if somebody plays a ring, then you can lead with a ring. And also the one of rings is the only basically trump in the game. As far as we have gotten in the game, we haven't played the whole thing as I said, and if we had, we wouldn't tell you. But you play this and you can then choose if you want to win the trick.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting thing.
Yes.
You don't have to. Most of the time I feel like you're playing this to win a trick.
Yeah, because you're Frodo when you play
Yes.
that, so that makes sense. I feel like the rings remind me of the princess in not the princess, but the
prince.
the multiple prince.
The multiple prince in Rebel Princess. So the princess in Rebel Princess. It's, English is weird.
Yes, don't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, cool.
It's kind of like you can't play them before somebody plays them.
Yeah, and they're not Trump.
No, but different, but same. I agree. 100% thumbs up. This game is impossible to play and not think about The Crew.
No, because
This is 100% inspired by The Crew.
Yeah.
And we love The Crew. I was just
did.
joking earlier that the story was the best part if you didn't understand, because the story is poop. I really like The Crew 1, and I think The Crew 2 is way better. And then this is, I'm going to talk about more in the final thoughts what I feel about this. But basically, it's the same kind of game. If you don't like The Crew, I don't think you're going to like this. Because you're doing the same thing. You have these goals in front of you. In The Crew 2, which is the best one, you draft these different goals. Here is basically you draft a character, and it's not like in The Crew you might have 2 or 3 in front of you. You have that thing. This is my goal. But they are harder, I feel like. But some are easier, but then they're going to be harder with other characters. So the multiplication and like the different combinations of characters make it still feel very different each time you play it.
Yeah, and I would say that because we have played some of these chapters with 4 players, but also a few of them with 2 players, and I would say that the 2-player version worked surprisingly well.
It's very good. How does it work? Let me know.
It works like this. We've set up the
Some of it.
3rd player
Yeah.
in a 2-player game right here. So the person playing Frodo, if this is not Frodo,
Yeah.
is basically controlling the third player, and it has some cards that are available, which is face up, but these can be available, for example, when these two are played, this will be revealed, kind of like Seven Wonders Duel.
Do you think this would have been in this game without Seven Wonders Duel?
I doubt it.
I feel like Seven Wonders Duel made this
Yes.
like a thing in a two-player game to make like things more uncertain. And I feel like this is a great, like if you want to play a cooperative trick-taking game, and most trick-taking games doesn't work with two, except for the ones that are very well with two, and some other, or like are made for two, and some others, of course. But I feel like this worked surprisingly well with two.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it with four, but it was not like if I had to choose or be like, oh, you can only buy it for two players, I would still recommend it.
Yes, I agree.
Because I really enjoyed that. So, who do you think is going to like this game? Do you think people who like thematic games going to love it?
No.
Because
But
you
if
can be Bilbo
Yes, you
in
can.
the beginning.
Yeah, but no, if you like Lord of the Rings, but if you hate trick-taking, I don't think your love for Lord of the Rings will like overshadow your hate for trick-takers.
This could have been anything.
Yeah,
Like,
it
it-
could.
it-
Absolutely.
it
I
makes
enjoy this
sense.
theme a lot.
It makes sense because you have like the chapters make sense, and there's like basically there's snippets from the different chapters in the book, and they're using that, and that is fine. But it's not a story game,
Nope.
and I'm happy about that. It's
Yes.
not. It's like the crew has more story than this, and I hate that. Like it's big paragraphs I have to read of. Now you're
It's
doing
not
this
that
thing that
big.
nobody cares about. Let's just play the game. Here's like 2 sentences, and that's enough. It just gives you some flair if you care, and then you play the game, which is the fun
Or if
part.
you care. Yeah, should we go into final thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking like if you don't like the crew, I don't think you're gonna like this. If you like the crew, I'm gonna like this is like a switch into final thoughts.
Yeah, that's what
If-
I thought.
If you were to tell somebody to get the crew 2, not the first one because that's just out of the run, or this,
Oh, I like the one. I like one also.
but 2 is better. We
better.
don't have the first one anymore because we have the second
No, but I feel like the 2 is more advanced. So
and
if,
fun.
yes, but if it was like your first thing that you were gonna get,
Yes,
maybe
but maybe next year they're coming up with my first crew.
my first crew.
Yes.
If you like Lord of the Rings, choose this. If you don't have any particular feeling, I don't know, choose the thing that was appealing to you. I think they're so similar that you get
Yes.
kind of the same vibe, no matter which one you pick.
I agree. Do you want to say some final thoughts as well?
I can say some final thoughts.
Do it.
I like the crew a lot, both the 1 and the 2.
Both the 1 and the 2.
And I like this also a lot. I think that I like the challenge that it is trying to not only think about how you will achieve your goal, but also try to facilitate for the other players achieving their goal as well. Especially with the third player in the 2-player game, you're thinking a lot about this if you're controlling this player as well. I love the artwork in this game. I really like the Lord of the Rings theme, and I think that I would like both to play this to the end of the chapters and also the crew 1
Yes.
and 2, because we haven't
Boom.
played those to the end either.
No.
And then which one I would then choose to have after those chapters that you get to.
Probably none of them.
I don't know,
Yeah.
because they're super fun puzzles, even though you're not playing like.
The campaign of
Yes.
the great story. Yeah, it's
Yes, I don't feel like
That's
that.
true. That's-
Yeah, I don't know which
Nope.
one then I will choose to have. Like, okay, let's take this from the shelf. All of them are done. I will choose this now. I don't know that yet, but I think this is a great game. I'm going to give it an 8.
I think this is a good game. I think it's a great game. I really enjoy this. I think that it's made so that it's a trick-taking game that's very available for people because it's less weird than many of the weirder trick-taking games that we have played.
Yes.
Like there are so many trick-taking games like, oh, and by the way, when you play this card, you have to be standing up on your head, and if you don't do that, then you lose. And then you get the dog, and the dragon comes in, and he eats the dog because the dog doesn't like the dragon. This doesn't have that. This is like pretty straightforward, even though that the combinations of the characters and things that happens in later chapters will make it challenging in a good way. And I enjoy that. I don't think I could recommend like, oh, you have to get the crew or you have to get this. I think they both work very well. I think for me, I like them both the same. I enjoy both of them very, very much. So I'm going to give it an 8 as well. And that's going to be the end.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching and subscribing because you're awesome. My name is Johannes.
And my name is Sunniva.
And you watch our channel, which is called Board Gaming Ramblings.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. And bye-bye.